is working hard on a ton of construction projects from the City of Jackson Engineering Department, Troy White.
Hey, how you doing, Bart?
Yeah, good. I'm great. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, are you staying cool with construction projects?
I am. I'm kind of cheating a little bit today anyway. I've spent a lot of time outdoors, but today I've been driving the dust most of the day. But it's getting hot out there, especially with so much going on.
Yeah, and we were talking before the show whether it's safe for crews to work, but you said they've got to. There's too much to do.
They're still working out there. Every single job we've got, they're still plugging away. So it's brutal, though.
Huh. Yeah, it's 85 now, and it's going to be probably 95 on Friday. So just keep hydrated. That's
right.
Yeah. All right. So we've got really a ton of projects, and some that just began this past week. So we're going to go through with Troy some of the projects, and we've got video that we'll take a look at. So up first, we'll take a look at the project that I think is going to be impacting the most people, particularly this weekend. Is Parkside. Down
there at Parkside, yeah. And you're talking about a hot day tomorrow. Tomorrow they're planning on paving that. So,
oh no.
Yeah. But if they weren't paving there, they'd be paving somewhere else. It's going to be hot, but that's how far along we are right now. You see right there, they're putting in the signs. So I guess the plan for that is to get it paved tomorrow. And then early next week, we got to adjust the manholes up and get the pavement stripes down. And for the most part, we'll be done and we'll be open for business.
Wow, so you're so close to being done in time for the balloon.
You talk about the heat. One thing they did call me about today is, they want to start a little earlier than normal tomorrow to try to get ahead of that heat, and it's probably a reasonable thing to do. Get an extra hour in the morning instead of an hour in later at night.
Yeah, and even with that, it's going to be overnight low 75 degrees.
Right, that's where they're going to be starting from. So, I think that's a reasonable request, so they're going to get out there and get ahead of it.
Well, a project that is a companion to that is the new reconfiguration of the intersection 4th Street, Stonewall, and Horton Road.
Right, and that keeps moving along. I think yesterday we put in, or we didn't, I didn't, I couldn't do that work, but they put in the curbs. So at this point, we need to start building the road base and get that paved. I would say we're probably next week they'll be grading it out, putting down gravel and cleaning it up, and then the week after that they'll be ready to start paving. We had a little bit of hiccup on that job this week. The light poles, we're putting in new mast arm signals there. Mm-hmm. They did come in, and we were surprised they came in about a week early, which doesn't happen very often because we've been waiting. We ordered them last year.
Wow.
And but they came in, they were not painted, so we figured out why they were early. So now they're getting picked up, and they're going to have to go away, get painted, and come back. So it's kind of a disappointment, but at the same time, we're going to have to live with it forever. We got to get it right. So
yeah, and those mast arms aren't stock items. They don't just pull them off.
But there's still plenty of work to do to get to that paving. I mean, that's really what impacts people the most is that road being closed. So we just keep plugging away.
Are you going to wait to open up the new roundabout till when this new intersection is done?
No, there'll be no reason for that. So, we'll be able to open it up in front of Parkside there. Like I said, next week we got to get the manholes lifted up, and we got to put the pavement markings down, and then we can open it.
Just to step away from our projects that we're planning to talk about, the Kibbe Road roundabout, it looks awesome. And it seems to be such a great improvement for traffic. But I noticed there's some markings, flags that have been planted on the area that used to be one of the lanes of traffic on Kibbe Road.
Oh, right. Well, we gotta fix some drainage problems over there. Down at the end, it gets kind of flat, and so we'll have somebody in there grading that out. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait for that a little bit. We got bigger fish to fry, but I don't know if you've ever noticed there's staining water.
Yeah,
it's hard to mow. It's not good for the park to have to mow. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of housekeeping and clean that up.
All right. Okay, let's move to Essex Heights, which is between 4th Street and Kibbe Road.
Right. Well, I got a call from a guy last week, and he was talking about traffic. We get so much cut through traffic, and what can be done. We were talking about different devices and everything, and when I got looking at it, there's been construction on either West, Kibbe, or 4th, 4 out of the last 5 years. So this neighborhood's been getting hammered.
And
now they're getting a new street. But once we get done with this season, they're going to be set for a long time. Here, what you can see up here in Essex Heights is it's been paved. Pretty much everything is done. All they're doing now is raising the manholes up. Once those manholes are raised up, there won't be any major items left to do.
And as you mentioned, over the last 5 years, there has been something going on in those areas, construction-wise. So I feel bad for some of those businesses, like Great Soak Hot Tub Company, Culligan, Kibbe Cobb Market. Those guys, you know, they've.
Well, you know, I think they've all gotten hit 1 year out of those 4 or 5 years. Yeah. The people who've gotten hit every year, who've had to deal with the people trying to sneak their way around the construction, is the people who live up in the Essex Heights neighborhood. Yeah.
Well, now they'll have beautiful new roads for people to sneak through.
Well, they won't need to, though, because we're going to be all done.
All right. Okay, now we're going to 2nd Street, and I went out of order. Sorry, Noah. But back to 2nd Street, coming closer to town.
Yeah, that's one of those where we're doing a complete reconstruction of the street, and we replace the water main. What's happening right now is they're out there replacing water services. The new water main pipe is in the ground. So now they've got to connect each house to the new water main. And what they're working on right now is, you've heard about the lead service replacement. Mm-hmm. Right now, when they do the services now, they're running them all the way into the basement. And that's the task that's going on right now. I think they should probably get done with that task this week and be ready to move on to the next task.
Now where that, because it was opened up when the two-way conversion.
Right.
So will that change the intersection where 2nd comes into Michigan Avenue there?
No, because basically the new project is starting where the old project ended. You know, none of the previous work has to be redone.
All right, now the big project that just started this week, Greenwood, and then the Austin Blair Park neighborhood.
Right. Yep, and we're starting that at the intersection of Morel, which is a little bit backwards to how we often do things. Usually we do the big piece and leave the little piece till the end. We didn't want to do it all in one phase because we don't want Morel Street to be closed that long. But in this case, we decided to do the Morel Street intersection first, so we can get that done and opened. I mean, if we're going to have it closed, do we close it now, or do we close it after school starts or something? So we're going to get it done now and get it out of the way. Once the Morel Street intersection is done, then they'll go nuts working up Greenwood and around the Greenwood Park.
And there is an easy way into Elishard Park, and that is to take Jackson Street and come in the back way. And a lot of people will be using that anyway to bypass Greenwood and Morel intersection this weekend. So.
Yeah, the humorous thing about the park down there is all their entrances are open.
Yeah.
You just got to be able to get to the entrance.
Yeah, because the roundabout, the 4th Street roundabout at the park entrance, it's wide open.
When we put up extra signing this year, I think we put it up right before the Beer Wine Festival, and we've still got it up. So pretty much any way you could be heading into the park, you're going to hit a sign that tells you how to get there.
Yeah, so we do have some new 4-way stops, and the law on 4-way stops is the first vehicle to stop at the 4-way is the one that has the right-of-way.
Right.
And we've seen a couple of fender benders and some flying birds because of that, but I guess the challenge is when 2 cars arrive simultaneously.
I have not heard that there was a problem down there. Yeah. So
I've witnessed a couple of
close calls, huh?
Close calls, yeah. So yeah, just be careful. Let's see what else. Oh, Michigan Avenue downtown. We're back working downtown.
You know, this is the last segment of downtown, basically between Consumers Campus and all the way out to the city limits. You know, we've got this little 2-block section that hasn't been done yet. So basically, once we get this done, we'll have all of West Michigan Ave done, all the way down to the Consumers Campus, and so we're playing catch up on that right now.
Is this getting the exact same full treatment that the rest of Michigan had?
Right. When we get done, it's going to have it'll have new water main, new sewer, and then it's going to have the same angle parking with the decorative planting type beds and trees. So it doesn't need to be. It had the same treatment as downtown, as the rest of downtown before we did the update. Yeah. Now we've got to catch up and bring this back into the fold.
And as we say, it'll be nice when it's done.
Right.
Close to that, I noticed this morning there were survey crews on Cortlandt Street doing something.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know if they were. I don't know what that would be, because we've already done the water main replacement on Portland. We're not looking at a project up there. You know, we know consumers needs to would like to do some work further downtown by the Masonic Temple. Obviously, we've got the city's working on the Masonic Temple and the old Vermeulen's building and the parking lots. So
Yeah, because
could have been a number of things you were seeing. We also know that the old Sit Pat property is being redeveloped.
I think it had to do with that.
Yeah, so I guess it's a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing that you don't know who they're working for because there's so much going on, right?
Yeah, it really is. It's amazing to see it all at once, all happening.
Right.
One project, I don't know if this is yours, Cooper Street, they started this week grinding it up and resurfacing.
That's not ours, but I'm somewhat familiar with it. You know, while the city's actually doing a project in coordination with the state project to mill and repave that, we're putting in new overhead lights. Basically, they'll match the overhead lights that we have on West Michigan that bring you into town. When you come into Cooper, you'll have the same kind of treatment.
Yeah, because that's going to be, once that I-94 Cooper interchange is done, that's my thinking is that's going to be
That's the main gateway up there. I know MDOT, the state's doing some decorative treatments up at the ramps. The city's participating in that in terms of enhancements to make it look better. So yeah, there's a lot going on. I think right now what they're doing is they're just going to be repaving that section of Cooper with a new coat of asphalt.
Yeah, and I think it'll be done this week. I think I think they've been very sensitive to the residents and businesses on that street because they've already suffered with the intersection exits being closed. On the east side, around the train station,
we just did a quick mill and resurface project over there by the train station, by the Coney Island, behind those commercial businesses. You know, that the pavement, there was no, a lot of the asphalt was off the pavement, just needed a quick cleanup. And you know, we did that while the businesses stayed open and got it done within a week or two, so.
Loomis Park neighborhood, what's happening there?
Well, they're just finishing up Edgewood. I think that was about a mile-long project between Michigan Ave and North Street. All the water main got replaced, and then we replaced the pavement. So they got a brand new pavement. You know, and that was one where we went all the way down, you know, put in a new gravel base and then 2 courses of asphalt. So that's not just like one of these maintenance jobs. That was a full depth reconstruct.
What's happening in the park? There's a whole bunch of dirt that's been dumped on the hill.
A lot of the spoils that have come from some of these are to regrade that sledding hill, put some more material in there. I don't know if you remember what it was like, but you know, it was kind of chewed up. Wasn't real well defined. There was a lot of holes and gouges. I think probably left over from the old days when it was part of the Loomis Mansion property. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen old postcards and stuff.
Yeah, there used to be gates.
Yeah, and there was a stairway that went down there, and I don't know if they ever got removed or they just got worn away and everyone slid over them. But gonna make a longer, more defined sledding hill. It's just a work in progress, you know. It's not done at all. You know, it needs a little bit more material. Needs to be sculpted a little better, and then you know, when the fall comes, when it's not so hot and dry, we'll get some grass growing.
Yeah, and they took some trees out in that area too. I think.
Yeah, make it safer.
So it should be a nicer sledding hill this winter.
I would expect that. Yeah.
All right. So all these projects, you're right in the middle of most of them. We've got half the summer still to go. Are we?
Well, we're in an interesting time right now in that we're finishing up the last paving of the first round of jobs, and we're starting the second round. So we got this 2-week overlap where it feels like we got twice as much going on as we normally do.
Well, great. It's awesome to see all this happening, and as we've all said, we want the better streets, and we've got to close them to make them better.
There you go.
Keep up the great work, and you and your crews stay safe out there in this dangerous weather.
Thanks, Bart. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Thanks, Troy. From the City of Jackson Engineering Department, Troy White. Well, yes, everyone's talking about the weather, and from Consumers Energy up next, the Senior VP